It all started with a cruel joke. In the city of Tulsa, Oklahoma, a wealthy real estate mogul named Leonard Blake sat in his luxurious office on the top floor of a high-rise building. He wore expensive suits, drank rare whiskey, and surrounded himself with people who laughed at all his jokes, even the mean ones. One afternoon, while planning a private party at his mansion, Leonard was going through his guest list with his young assistant, Tommy. The list was full of judges, bankers, and socialites. But then Leonard leaned back in his chair and smirked. "Let's add someone ridiculous to the list, just for fun," he said. Tommy looked confused. "Like who, sir?" Leonard raised an eyebrow. "That cleaning lady. What's her name? Mara? Misha?" "Her name's Monica Bell," Tommy replied quietly. Leonard chuckled. "Perfect. Add her to the guest list. Let's see if she actually shows up." They printed a formal invitation, fancy envelope, golden seal, and casually dropped it off on her cleaning cart like it meant nothing. But Monica wasn't a fool. She found the invitation later that day and instantly knew it wasn't sent with kindness. Still, she didn't rip it up or throw it away. She simply read it again, folded it, and smiled. She wasn't sure whether it was a joke or a test, but she decided she was going. The night before the party, Monica Bell couldn't sleep. She sat in her small, tidy home in East Tulsa, staring at the invitation over and over again. Her youngest son, Jaden, had called earlier and picked up on something in her voice. "You okay, Ma?" he asked. "I'm fine, baby," she replied. "Just thinking." "About what?" She hesitated, then finally said, "An invitation, but I don't think I was really meant to accept it." Jaden was quiet for a moment, then said firmly, "Then go. Let them see who they're messing with." That was all she needed to hear. Monica didn't have money to waste, but she had something saved for emergencies. Instead of using it on bills or groceries, she used it to buy a dress. Not just any dress, but a deep green satin gown that shimmered like confidence itself. She got her hair done, added a soft touch of makeup, and wore heels that made her stand just a little taller than she felt. When the Uber pulled up to the mansion gates the next evening, Monica stepped out like royalty. The valets, stunned, didn't know what to do at first. One even stuttered, "Ma'am, this event is invite only." Without blinking, Monica opened her silver clutch and handed him the invitation. Real, official, sealed. The man's face changed. "Right this way, ma'am." Inside, chandeliers sparkled, music played, and Tulsa's elite sipped wine and whispered about stock prices. Everyone dressed like money and acted like power. And then, Monica walked in, heads turned, conversation stopped. A woman in a gold dress gasped. No one expected her to show up. And definitely not like this. But Monica didn't come to start a fight. She came to be seen. Monica walked into that grand mansion like she owned it, not with pride, but with grace. Each step in her emerald gown echoed across the marble floors, quieting the room more than the jazz band ever could. People whispered, "Who is she? Is that the cleaning lady?" But Monica didn't flinch. She moved with calm dignity, pausing only to take a glass of champagne offered by a young waiter who smiled nervously. "Thank you, baby," she said kindly, like it was just another day at work. Across the room, Leonard Blake saw her and froze. His smirk vanished. He blinked in disbelief. Monica was supposed to be a punchline, not the best-dressed guest in the room. He walked toward her, pretending to be casual. Well, he said with a fake smile. "Didn't think you'd actually show up." Monica looked him straight in the eyes. "That's funny," she replied calmly. "I was thinking the same thing about you." Leonard laughed awkwardly. "It was just a joke. Hope you weren't offended." She sipped her champagne. "Takes more than paper and wax to offend me," But I do think it's funny, sending an invite to someone who cleans your floors. His smile twitched. She had him rattled, and she hadn't even raised her voice. Then something unexpected happened. A woman in the crowd recognized Monica. It was Angela, an old friend from Monica's church choir days. She rushed over, gave her a big hug, and said loudly, "Girl, you look like a queen. What are you doing here?" Monica smiled and simply said, "Apparently I was invited." Now, more guests were watching and approaching. Some curious, others sincere. By the time Monica made it to the buffet table, she wasn't walking alone anymore. She was the center of the room. And Leonard? He stood at the bar, watching it all unfold, a stranger in his own house. The longer Monica stayed, the more the energy of the party shifted. People started asking her questions, not about her job, but about her. Her past, her music, her voice. One guest, Harold, a well-known lawyer, asked, "So, I heard you used to sing?" Monica smiled softly. "I used to. These days I just hum while I mop." "You should sing again," he said. Back near the fireplace, Leonard Blake was falling apart. He tried laughing louder, gathering his usual crew to take back control of the room. But every time he looked up, there she was, calm, glowing, surrounded by people who used to ignore her. He finally pulled his assistant Tommy aside, angry. "Why the hell did you actually send her the invite?" Tommy looked nervous. "You told me to." "I didn't think you'd actually do it," Leonard snapped. "She looked at me that day like she knew," Tommy muttered. "I didn't have the heart to throw it away." Meanwhile, Monica was sharing a story about how she met her late husband in a tiny diner back in '92. People laughed, nodded, even wiped away a few tears. Then someone asked the question that silenced the room. "Will you sing something?" She paused, caught off guard. It had been years since she sang in front of anyone, not since her husband's funeral. But then she remembered her son Jaden's words, "Make them see you." So she stood. She cleared her throat, and she began to sing, "I Won't Complain." Her voice, low, deep, raw, carried through the room like a prayer wrapped in melody. It wasn't just a performance, it was a testimony. People stopped breathing. Some cried. No one looked away, not even Leonard. When she finished, she sat quietly, hands in her lap. The applause wasn't loud, it was honest. One by one, people came to her, not to gossip, but to say, "Thank you." Even the woman who had gasped earlier walked over, red in the face, and said, "I was wrong about you." Monica nodded gently. "You were wrong about you too." The party didn't end with a toast or a speech. It just softened. People left in pairs, quieter than they arrived. Some hugged Monica. Others just gave her that humble nod, the kind you give someone who's just changed your perspective. Outside, the night air was cool. Inside, Leonard stood alone by the fireplace, staring at the dying flames. He didn't pour another drink. He didn't speak. He just stood there, silent. His assistant, Tommy, approached with 2 coats. "Want me to call it a night?" Leonard barely nodded. "How long was she here?" Monica? 3 hours, maybe 4. Leonard sighed. "That's all it took." He looked around the mansion, marble floors, imported rugs, priceless art, and for the first time, it all felt empty. He sat at his desk the next day, but something was different. The building felt colder, quieter. The lobby was spotless, but Monica wasn't there. Her cart was gone. Her soft humming no longer echoed through the stairwell. She had taken the day off. No message. No reason. Just a statement. "You feel my absence now, because for the first time, you noticed my presence." Leonard leaned back in his chair and whispered to himself, "I don't even know her birthday." There was no speech big enough, no apology grand enough to fix what he had broken. Not just that night, but over years of ignoring people like her. Back in her home, Monica slipped off her shoes and soaked her tired feet. Her dress, now hanging gently in her closet, was no longer armor. It was a memory of a victory. Her phone buzzed. It was Jaden. "How'd it go?" he asked. She smiled. "Let's just say, they'll think twice next time they laugh at someone who cleans their toilets." Moral of the story: you don't need a title to carry respect. You don't need an invitation to claim your space. And you don't need money to be the most powerful person in the room. Be like Monica. Stand tall. Show up. Let the room adjust to you.